Hey teachers, we're going to take a high-level overview, a little tour of Google Forms, all of its features and functionality. We're not going to go into depth on anything here, but we're going to click around and see where a lot of these things live. In a lot of the subsequent videos, we're going to drill down and spend a lot of time on each of them, but for now, all we're looking to do is just see where all this stuff is. So let's start off by, how the heck do I find myself a Google Form? Well, if you are in your Drive, you'll notice if you go to the New button, under More, you'll be able to find a Google Form that way. If you just choose a standard Google Form, you might end up with something like the one that I've created. This is called My First Form, and I've stuck with just some very basic options here. So you got a title, there's a default right here where we're kind of expecting anyone who takes this form to be a D12 employee or a student, hence they have an email for District 12. Here we've got one question. Notice, click out of it, I click into it, all of a sudden I got a lot of options. I wanted a multiple choice question, so I've got a yes, no here. I can make a copy. I can throw this question away. I can make this question required or not required. I can make it a multiple choice question or a lot of different things. As I said, we're going to be taking a much deeper look at all of these options in subsequent videos. I can add another question, import, change the way they look, add a picture, add images. I can add pictures to individual answers. Tons of options there. So moving up here, currently we're in the questions. What do I do when people have actually responded to my forms? Whether they're quizzes or something else, how do I check that? Here you can see I've got a responses tab and I've got a number 3 here, which means I've got 3 people who have answered my first form. So let's take a quick look at that while we're here. So here I can see I've got 3 different ways that I can view all of my responses. In the summary, I can see who's answered it via their email. Because I've been collecting emails, they don't type this in, it just automatically is getting that information for me. It's a pro tip, it's a good idea to always expect and request those emails to come through for you. Here we can see how people did on all the questions. In this case, there was only one question. I have other options like how I want to look at it, question by question, student by student. I could even go as far as exporting this into an existing spreadsheet, change where the responses come from, so I'm not locked into just seeing it here. I could see it in other forms as well. Okay, lots of options up here, so let's go through them. Add-ons, we're not going to go through in this module, but Google has a lot of functionality that you can add on to via the add-ons. What do you know? Here we can change what it looks like. Maybe I want to change the color of the background, change how dark or light it is, put an image of something in the background. Here, I'm going to go back to show you what I just clicked. This is the preview button. If I want to see what it's going to look like for a respondent, I click on that button and here it is. This is what it's going to look like for anyone that receives this form. Okay, over here, this is a big one, settings. So I've got a bunch of options here. I'm not going to go through all of them. Got options here, and for many of you, this is going to be of a lot of interest for you, the quizzes tab. And again, we'll come back to all of these later. I just want you to see where you can find these options. Okay, the send button actually has a surprising amount of options as well. So if I click on this, I can either give my quiz to my respondents through an email. In other words, I can type someone's email in, says, hey, answer this form, or all of my class, all of the kids in my class. I can just get a link, and then I can take that link and I can post it somewhere like my classroom. And if I put this link in my classroom, then kids can access it that way. Or, if I want to put it like embedded in a site, this is the fancy HTML code that would put that form inside of a site. Look, I can even post it to Facebook and Twitter. Don't do that. Okay, so then I have the More key, and there's a lot of stuff here too. I can get rid of the whole thing. I can make a copy of this form, giving it another name. Maybe you do like a vocabulary quiz every week and you've got like a general template you want to send or stick to. I can throw it away. I can put questions in advance or answers for the questions in there. I can print it. I can share this with colleagues. That's what a collaborator is. And I've got other things I can do as well. As you can see, there's a lot of places for the options to hide here. There's a lot to it, but we're going to take a look at all of these things in more detail in the upcoming modules. Enjoy.